Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Siti Nur Alia Syahdah binti Azhari. Today, my friends and I will talk about a book fiction. Do you guys know what is the meaning of fiction? Fiction actually is a literature work created based on imagination of an author rather than on fact. Short story, myths, legends, novel, and fairy tales are all considered as fiction. While settings, plot points, and characters in fiction are sometimes based on real-life events or people, writers use such things as jumping off point for their story. The function of fiction is to entertain, educate, and inspire the readers and the audience. Literature in general, and fiction in particular, is capable enough to suit our emotion. Therefore, fiction gives the audience an experience beyond their daily lives. It provides them an insight into the life of characters, their manners, and even related to them. I believe all of you read a fiction book in your daily life, so I will give you 5 examples of the fiction book that I know. The first one is 3 Junes by Julia Glass. This book was hit in 2002. The second one is The Wake of Our Sky by Anna Alkaf. The third one is Ayat-Ayat Cinta by Habibur Rahman and Shirazi. Fourth, Imaginasi by Ramli Awam Mushid. Fifth, The Secret Story by Donna Tartt. A fiction book that my friends and I choose to make a review is A Magnus Chase and the Hammer of Thor by Rick Riordan, and a Malay novel, Ombak Rindu by Fauzia Ashari.
Hi, Assalamualaikum and greeting to everyone. I'm Nur Hamiza binti Nisham. Okay, today I will talk about this book. This book is Magnus Chase and the Hammer of Thor. This book is written by Richard Russell Riordan Jr., also known as Rick Riordan. Who is Rick Riordan? Rick Riordan is one of the famous authors who wrote the best fiction books in America. Rick Riordan grew up in Texas. He attended the Aloma Higher High School, graduating in 1982. For higher education, Rick enrolled at the University of Texas, majoring in English and history. Okay guys, this author, Rick Riordan, also wrote the Percy Jackson series. I believe that you guys must watch the Percy Jackson movie, because until now I was repeat over and over again that movie because I love the fantasy movie. Same like this book, it's full fantasy because this book was continued from the Percy Jackson series. You can read this book. The character of this book also it takes from Avengers movie. You must remember Thor, Loki, and Odin, and his Thor, which is Thor hammer. I will tell you a little bit about the synopsis of this book. I believe that you all must heard the Thor hammer and I believe you guys must watch the Avenger movie, which is this movie was seen last year. It is the same hammer that we talk about on this book. Actually, the Thor hammer was missing again. The Thunder Gods has disturbing habit of misplace his weapon, the Midas Force in the Nine World. But this time, the hammer isn't just lost; it has fallen into enemy hand. If Magnachis and his friend can retrieve the hammer quickly, the mortal world will be defenseless again, and onslaught of giant, and the Ragnarok will begin. The Nine World will also burn. Unfortunately, the only person who can broke a deal for the hammer return is the god worst enemy, which is Loki, and the price he wants is very high. Okay, now I will tell the critical commentary on this book. When people meet Alex Firo, I will read some sentence. I'm gender fluid and transgender idiot. And not only is Elek a great character as she has said Alex is gender fluid, but seen in most of the scene, she appears as a female. I will use the pronouns for convenience and because she made it clear that she doesn't do they. Represents diversity in such an unusual and compelling and absolutely perfect way. She is also likable, relatable, and a million shades of splendid. I also appreciate how the magical element intervenes in Alex's characterization. She's a shapeshifter, so she can be male 1 minute and female the next. It's so very brilliant how the Rick Riordan make it. And she and Magnus actually talk about what it means for her to be gender fluid and how she feels about it. I think this is all the more perfect and astonishing when you consider that The Hammer of Thor is the second installment in a middle grade series. We need more writers like Rick Riordan. Okay guys, now I will tell you the strengths and weaknesses of this book. Actually, this book was won many positive review by how Rick create a well-constructed and tightly content plots in each chapter. In this book, for information, Rick had illustrated each character's internal feeling verbatim without any awkwardness. For example, in page 308, Utgard Loki chuckled while Tiny named of the character. It seemed like did what you asked. They brought your bag. Tiny glared at us. He did not look quite so easygoing now. Yes, he said through gritted teeth. This book also capable of disparities between what the narrator is describing and what's actually happening. Okay, now let me read some of the text in this book. Instantly, Sam's leg buckled. She collapsed sideways on the floor and lay immobile. Her eyes half closed, her glowing spear rolled across the stone. From my understanding of this sentence, it actually explains the mechanism of injury that Sam faced. That's how Rick made this book look live and interesting. Other than that, this book also capable of great complexity of plot and character. Actually, The Hammer of Thor, this book released on April 28 on 2016. This book also was gained positive review from critics who praised its inclusion of diverse characters such as the gender fluid character Alex Firo, Muslim Samira Al-Abbas, and that mute Hearthstone, but also notes its tried and repetitive that did not help readers progress through the series' overall story arc. For information, the interesting plot created by Rick are at the climax of the story. Here I read some of the climax of this book. Having a wedding in Triumph's bar, they go to Alex and Samira's father-mother Loki cave. The group panics and Magnet tells Thor they are moving to Loki cave. As soon the wedding ends, they bring out Johnny and Alex immediately, takes out her garrote and starts to strangle Triumph. A battle starts to commune and Randolph takes the Skovnang sword that Magnus brings. Even under the wrong condition, Randolph unsheathes the sword, but the sword starts to break. He starts breaking Loki's chain during the battle. But by the time the Asgardians get to the battle, Loki breaks free and escapes. I think that readers are also able to imagine how they want things to look rather than being shown how everything looks. In my opinion, this book makes us fantasize a lot because Rick had created so many fantasy elements to make it look alive. Okay, now I will tell you for the weaknesses. Since Magnus Chase and the Hammer Thor is the second series out of three, which is it has three series. This book is the second series. Rick had left a mark about character of Percy Jackson, as he mentioned in page 457, where Annabeth smiled and said, "I don't know the ocean very well, but my boyfriend does. I think it's time you met Percy." That leaves us question how Rick will create a new plot. At first, I also thought that this book only about Thor, Odin and Loki, which is the main character in this book. But soon, when I reached the end of chapter, the author left me a question, which makes me curious. In my perspective, there is no weaknesses in start of writing because this book had given me a lot of fantasy experience.
Hi, my name is Nurusna binti Rosli. I would like to share about the contribution of mankind of the novel Magnum Chase and the Hammer of Thor. This book was give inspiration to the society how to write with full imagination. Maybe your imagination now can make your own novel. Who knows, right? Like this book, the Magnum Chase and the Hammer of Thor, the author used his imagination about his son who was diagnosed with ADHD and dyslexia, had a keen interest in the subject his father taught, which is grade methodology. In the second grade, his son would often request upon Rick to tell him stories inspired by the Greek methodologies. In order to fulfill his son's request, Rick quickly invented the characters of the Percy Jackson, a 12-year-old boy who suddenly discovered he is the son of the Greek god. Greek began a creatively crafted imaginative tale of the Percy expedition. That's it. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Nashminas Indisharuddin. So here is the second book that we choose as our book review. So this novel is the first written by Fauzah Ishari and published by Alfred's Wine, which is subsidiary of Kanta Media Group in 2002. It has been published 23 times and Fauzah has received royalty for 290,000 since the first publication of the novel in 2002. And also, it appears that the film publishing strategy to redirect the source of the combat review novel was successful, and the 24th printing was sold 20,000 out of 40,000. Every novel have their own strengths and weakness. The strength in this novel is the style of language used by the author has earned the reader's attention. Therefore, many are interested in reading this novel. A good way of writing is very important for a novel to get a lot of buyers. For weakness, this novel is not suitable for kids under 15. This is because there are some scenes that should not be read and seen by kids. It's also, this novel have too many plot. If a novel have too much plot, it can cause the reader get tired of reading. Another weakness that we can get is Many readers are dissatisfied when a film has been filmed is not the same as a novel. A lot of scenes have been cut and some storylines have changed a bit. Some readers say that the film director wants to make a profit.
Hi, before I start, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Mufika binti Muhammad Rosdi. So, I would like to share about a critical commentary for novel Ombak Rindu. Ombak Rindu is an interesting book and the storytelling is easy to understand by a reader. What is the theme for this novel? The theme for this novel is the different level of love and also take the situation of halal prostitute. The author for this novel is Fauzia Ashari and this book was published in 2002 by Alaf 21. The main character for this novel is Iza, who is an orphan girl that have been raised by her uncle, who is a gambler. Haris is the hero for his novel, who is a rich guy but being loved to socializing and going to the nightclub. One day, Haris has brought Iza from the owner of nightclub because Iza has been sold by her uncle to get money for gambling. And then Haris has made Iza as his wife and calling Iza as a halal prostitute. The patient Iza in facing everything that come to her make from something bad transform into a true love. The patient that she has brought her a happiness. This book is an interesting and storytelling with a smooth, concise language and the dialogue that have been used is appropriate for all type of reader and also make it easier to understand the story. The contribution of mankind for this novel is, from this novel we can see that we should not trust someone quickly because not everyone has a good attention toward us. Next, we also must be patient and persistent in facing future risks without complaining and giving up quickly. The most important lesson that reader can learn is about a family love. This is because without love in family members, it will make family break up easily. About love, I think love should not be measured in terms of degree and wealth because true love is born from our heart.